What's up, Top 10 fam? Hope you're having an awesome day. I'm your host, Eamon Hassan. We have a guest, as always.
What's going on, guys? Jared Bronstein here.
He's been here quite a bit recently.
Yes, I have.
What do you guys think of him? Yay, no, do we like him, do we hate him? I don't know.
Be honest.
He can take it, he can take it.
I'm a man.
But anyway, guys.
Not that matters. Men and women can both take it.
Yeah, of course.
As in, negative comments is what I meant to say. And moving on from that comment, let's just get right into this one. But before we do, gotta give a quick shout out to our channel, Top 10 Central.
So it's basically top 10 but funny. So if scary isn't your thing, check it out. I'm on it, Jared's on it, Landon's on it, Joss is on it.
And if you guys need to get a good, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
It's fine.
And if you guys want to get a good laugh after being scared, because who doesn't like scary things and funny things, well, it's the perfect place to come hang out. So click right over here. We got a link right down in the description below. Come check it out, say hi, leave a comment being like, I came from Most Amazing Top 10.
Jamin sent me here. There you go.
Jamin, welcome.
Jamin sent you here. Boom. Anywho now. But without further ado, these are the top 10 scary basements that actually exist.
Yikes, I hate basements.
I hate you.
Standard. And we got some bloopers that you guys will not want to miss coming up at the end of this one.
They're actually shocking.
No, you really do not want to miss these ones.
Starting us off with number 10 is the eye. Now this one was shared by Redditor JLKanga23, who said this happened when she was 12 years old. One of her mum's friends from church asked if she and some others would come over and pray all over his house. Apparently, as soon as he moved in, things just changed. His wife's personality changed completely, he had started seeing shadows himself, and his daughter just started acting very bizarre as well. Now their house had a storm basement that he'd never gone into because he always got an evil feeling from it. The group got to his house and the user's mum had brought her along because she was too young to be left at home. Now they opened the basement to find a bunch of ritualistic or voodoo-like symbols that had been graffitied onto the walls. Already that would have been a red flag for me. I would have been like, nah, B, miss me with that shit. Now there was one eye symbol that the user could never get out of her mind even till this day. And that wasn't even the worst part. Scattered all around the floor were dozens and dozens of dried out dead animals. I'm talking cats, rabbits, chickens, dogs, you name it, they were there. There's no way they had gotten down there themselves since there weren't any chickens in the town anyway, so someone purposely brought them there for whatever purpose. And clearly some ritualistic had been going on down there, so no wonder all that bad juju infected his entire family. I get it.
And at 9, the man and the girl. So the story goes that this boy, who we'll call Mike, was hanging out with his older sister and their friend Andy, who had come to visit. Andy was staying in the basement, so all the kids would hang down there and play video games. Once when they were playing, Andy heard a noise and asked if anyone else heard, to which neither Mike or his sister did. A few moments later, Andy and Mike both heard a noise which sounded like it came from a little girl. Mike's older sister dismissed his warning and said it was probably from the game. They kept playing, and about 15 minutes later, they heard another sound, like a nail dragging on a bench and then falling to the ground. At this point, Mike and Andy decided to go upstairs while Mike's sister continued playing the game. Shortly after, Mike's sister came upstairs saying she heard a man's voice and it wasn't from the game. It looked like she had seen a ghost. When their dad came home, he checked it out, said it was their imagination, and not to say anything to their mother because it'd scare her. He did, however, find the nail on the ground next to his bench by his workshop in the shed. Years later, Mike was visiting his new family home and his dad was joking about the basement in the old family home. Upon hearing the story, Mike's mother asked why she never heard this story and explained when she was home alone, she'd seen the shadows of a man and a little girl in the basement. Ooh, spooky. Nothing happened to her, but she always thought it was scary.
Now at number 8 we have the dolls. And honestly this one isn't even creepy because oh it was found out of nowhere and oh which psycho was behind this one. I feel like no, this basement is intentionally creepy. Hanny's, a restaurant in Phoenix, Arizona, has a very interesting basement that probably makes most of their customers just lose their appetites. The owners are eccentric and strange in their own regard, but they installed an homage to the Last Supper in their basement. And that would have been fine had the installation not featured a bunch of creepy ass dolls. Like why? Why? If that's what I find at a restaurant, I'm automatically gonna think about the food. Like if that's what's down there, what are they putting in my food that I don't know of? It just creeps me out. I don't want to be there. The whole thing's just very sus.
Moving on to number 7, the 2 jars. While renovating a property in Hannibal, Missouri, 2 workers made a gruesome discovery that shed some historical light on the property. William C. Neff owned the property, which he inherited from his parents, and told local news stations that he believes the homeowners before his parents ran an illegal abortion clinic in the early 1900s. Neff's parents bought the property in the 1950s, which is where his father ran his chiropractic clinic from. As William grew up, his parents would tell him about these jars they found in the basement, but didn't go into much detail. And for good reason. The workers who unfortunately stumbled upon the jars found 2 fetuses sitting in formaldehyde. When speaking on the incident, Williams said, "I know they did medical procedures and stuff. I was told they helped a lot of ladies. That's all I know." Referring to the old owners of the house before his parents.
Coming in at number 6 now is Benjamin Franklin. No, he wasn't found in a basement, but what a plot twist that would have been if that was a story. So back in 1998, a group of construction workers were doing some repairs in the basement of the house at 36 Craven Street. It didn't take them long to find more than 1,200 pieces of human and non-human bone in a pit that was 1 meter wide and deep. First of all, the hell going on with that? Archaeologists were called in to investigate the site, and they pinpointed the time period in which they think the bones were buried. They estimated that they had been there since the mid to late 1700s, and do you know who was the resident of that house between 1756 and 1775? Founding father Benjamin Franklin. And I mean, we know he wasn't a crazed serial killer murderer, so someone make it make sense. Apparently the bones are from an anatomy school that was run in the house, and the surgical marks on the bones backed that story up. But wouldn't it have been much more spicy if it was Benjamin Franklin's doing and he was a serial killer? We like a bit of juice.
Next up at number 5, the Tombstone. Now, I don't know about you guys, but if I found a tombstone in my basement, I'd probably move out that same day and put my house up for sale. That's just some bad juju. Bad vibes. Not here for it. So the story here is Derek Kruk was exploring his basement and stumbled upon something he hadn't noticed before on the floor. After cleaning the area and wiping the floor of the dust and whatever else was on the floor, Derek realized he had discovered a tombstone in his basement. Was the house he was living in built on top of someone's body? Could it be haunted? So many questions, and I have all the answers. No. Derek called up some friends to tell them about his discovery, and upon doing some digging, no pun intended, they soon learned the tomb belonged to Jabez Hardin, who fought in the War of 1812. However, after help from local resident Chip Mangio, who did some of his own research, it was determined that this war veteran actually wasn't buried beneath the home. Chip, who is the head of a local charitable organization that helps assist local charities, inspected every tomb at a local cemetery until he came across Hardin's. Chip went on to explain Hardin's old stone was most likely given away after his new stone was created. He went on to say, "Gravestones travel. You'll actually find gravestones as part of waterspouts or walkways because they're still good stones and they're expensive." So at the end of the day, Derek can rest easy knowing his house wasn't built on a grave, but still, knowing your house was made partly with tombstone, even if the house isn't haunted, the basement has got to be redone. Bad stuff's happening down there, I can promise you that right now.
Now number 4 is the painting. This one's from Reddit user Fonzie327, who said in his junior year of college he moved into a house with his best friend. They started moving their boxes into the house and put a bunch of things in the basement. Now the basement itself was basically this unfinished concrete square that contained a smaller room inside of it that had the water heater and other pipes in it. Now the boys started looking around and started checking out what's already there, and they found a huge painting in the smaller room. It's about 3 feet tall, and when they turn it around they see the creepiest thing ever. The painting is of a guy wearing a pink onesie, and the hood has bunny ears on it. He's holding a knife in his hand that's pointed at his own stomach, kind of like he's about to stab himself, and of course he's got the biggest smile on his face ever. Now I get art is subjective, and fair enough, I don't have the right to be like that's creepy, but here's the mic drop moment we're waiting for. Now they realize the boy in the painting is being painted from the inside of the smaller room looking onto the rest of the basement. The doorway he's leaning on is exactly the same as the one in the basement, and so they were like, hell no, we're getting out of here, and they probably just broke their lease. That's what I would do, to be honest.
At number 3, the Urban Explorer. Our friend here, who we'll call Jeff, had a knack for exploring that which is now abandoned. I don't know why, but when things are abandoned, there's usually a good reason for it. And in this case, it was probably what this guy found in the basement. So the story goes, Jeff here and his pal Josh went venturing into an old abandoned farmhouse about an hour from their hometown. Rumor had it this farmhouse was once used for a cult, so you know things were gonna get weird. At first when they walked in, Josh found a photo of the family who the 2 explorers believed used to live there. However, their faces in the photo were scratched out. Weird. As the 2 went downstairs, Jeff, making his way down the old creaky wooden stairs, would find himself going right down to the basement floor as the 5th step from the bottom caved in. It took a moment for Jeff to realize what had happened. He was standing in a basement with water up to his ankles, as well as cuts and a ton of splinters in both legs. The agonizing pain started to spread up to Jeff's torso, and he started to feel dizzy. Before he blacked out, Jeff surveyed the basement and believes he saw a face and some movement in a dark corner. Upon waking up, he found out that Josh had called 911, which was the right call. Jeff needed to be vaccinated, stitched up, and get the splinters taken out of his legs. To this day, he doesn't know what he saw in that basement, but I don't think he'll be going back anytime soon to find out.
Filling our number 2 slot now is the comatose woman. Back in 2008, a man in Austria brought a comatose woman to a hospital. She was in critical condition, her kidney was about to shut off, and she was on the brink of death, but her ailing condition wasn't even the most worrying part about the whole thing. It was the circumstances surrounding her admittance that really worried the staff. The man who brought her in claimed he wasn't related to her and just showed up with a note from her mum telling him to bring the girl to the hospital. The girl's kidney wasn't even the only thing failing, her teeth were rotting, she was malnourished, there was a lot going on under the surface, and doctors were determined to find out what was going on. They didn't know it at the time, but the man was Josef Fritzl, who's been mentioned on the channel many times, one of the most notorious criminals of all time. He built a chamber in his basement, and after getting his daughter to help him install the door, he drugged her and then locked her in there for 24 years. In this basement, he raped and impregnated his daughter multiple times, like she had 7 kids while in captivity. His dumbass wife kept believing him when he told her the kids were just orphans that were left at their door. Finally, one of the basement children fell ill, which is when his crimes came to light and when authorities found another secret basement he had built, but thankfully no one was in this one.
And finally, number 1, the confinement room. Now this one really hit close to home because I had never heard of the story, yet it happened when I was 17 years old and in Pickering, which is about an hour away from where I grew up. So back in November of 2011, contractors working on an old abandoned home made a scary discovery in the basement. What was described as a confinement-styled room with a thick door and several locks was enough to start a police investigation. Reports claim the house hadn't been lived in since 2006, but this room looked as if it had been constructed within the last year or two. Detective Darren Short explained, "I can't get into what was in the room, but the way it was constructed, the time and effort put into it, and the materials used clearly indicated it was a room designed to hold somebody in. There was a locking mechanism nobody would be able to penetrate or breach. The previous homeowners had nothing to do with the newly constructed room, and police never did solve the curious case." So what were they trying to hide in there? What was someone trying to keep in there really is the more important question. Creepy. Scary. Basement I don't want to travel to, because that's a scary basement.
And that's it for today's video, guys.
Hope you guys enjoyed it. If you guys want to see more Jamin, which is the name that we've officially given ourselves.
Yeah, because what were your other options? Arid? That sounds horrible. That sounds like something you'd catch.
No.
That sounds like something you'd catch.
It would have been, Arid. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, it does sound pretty bad. So we'll stick with Jamin.
Let us know what you guys thought of this list below. Do not miss the bloopers.
Trust me, you guys, when
He's
I tell you guys,
evil.
if you just please don't miss them. Just stick around for like another 30 seconds, you'll enjoy them. Make sure to check out our new channel, Top 10 Central, right over here, or there's a link right down below. I'm Jared Bronstein here with the lovely
Eamon Hassan.
and we'll see you guys on Top 10 Central.
Scurry. I'm so excited to have some pad thai or maybe some noodles.
Anyways.
Yeah.
Ready?
Okay.
Ready? Ready?
Stop. Got my tings.
Are
Got
you
my
ready?
tings.
Ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
You ready?
Yeah, I've got
Ready?
ting tings.
Ready?
Tings. Hey guys, what's
That's what I was saying. You ready? I'm like, let's hear the shit out of her. No! I didn't think you'd get that scared. You almost fell. Are you okay?
God. Yeah.
I literally just yelled. That was recording, right?
That definitely wasn't okay.
I didn't even touch her. I literally just turned and I yelled. I didn't even.
I don't want to do this video with you anymore.
Well, you had to get into a scary mood, so.
I don't want to do this with you anymore.
All right.
I'm not happy about that.
That was so good.